en el canal. Sé que no me preparé casi tiempo, ya casi inicia este directo. Entonces vamos a ir empezando con esto a ver qué onda. A ver si dicen algo de Mega Man o si no, pues va a ser puro de Resident Evil 4.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Capcom Showcase pre-show. I'm Andy, this is Joe from the Capcom USA Community Team. Before we get to the main show, which I'm really excited about, hopefully you guys are too, we have a pre-show plan for you. Yeah, we got some pretty cool stuff. We're going to be doing an interview with one of our developers over at Capcom Japan. We're going to be talking to one of our voice talents who worked on Street Fighter 6. And to get things started, we're going to be highlighting a Capcom creator who's done some pretty cool Street Fighter 6 art in the past, so we're really excited about that. So let's go ahead and get that started.
A ver, vamos a ver qué nos traen. Esta de arte conceptual. Espero todo se escuche bien en orden, chicos, porque si me pueden decir, por favor. ¿Es de Street Fighter eso? No creo. Ah, no. Ok, va a empezar en 28 minutos el stream de qué es lo que se traen, qué es lo que traen en mente estos señores de Capcom. Entonces podemos estar en espera un poquito, chicos, mientras que quieren sacar un poco de conversación. Yo voy pasando unas invitaciones por si quieren darse una vuelta aquí al stream. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Eres una viejilla encima, tranca.
Clev is so talented. Clev, if you're watching, thank you so much for doing that time lapse for us.
Yeah, it's just really cool how the art really tells a story, right? You've got Kimberly, but then all the legacy characters from Street Fighter. It's just so cool to see. And if you really like that artwork, we are going to post that on our social media channels, so please take a look at that after the show.
And now we have an interview with the voice of Luke from Street Fighter 6, Alex Lee. Alex, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm happy to be here.
Before we get into talking about Luke, how did you get into voice acting?
I think it was one summer day. I was eating a bowl of noodles, and I thought to myself, voice acting is cool. Maybe I'll try that. That's it.
That's just the noodles.
That's it. That's where it went. Yeah.
Did the noodles also get you to the role of Luke?
Yeah. I showed up to the studio and I went, and they said, "That's the guy."
But no, seriously, how did you get the role of Luke, and how did you approach that whole performance?
When we got the character slides and everything, I read through his description, his likes, his hobbies, and I was like, this guy is kind of like me. Pretty much that role was just me trying to put myself out there and kind of relaxing a little bit. It was actually one of the first roles where I got to play somebody that was just like me.
Luke's had a pretty interesting journey. He started at kind of the tail end of Street Fighter V and now is at the forefront of Street Fighter 6. How did you approach the two performances differently?
For 5, they wanted something younger. So Luke had a bit more of an aggressive attitude. He was a lot more arrogant. He was a lot more cocky. And he was just kind of like this random punk that showed up and was like, who wants to fight me? So for 6, we definitely kind of like mellowed down. He's got a job now. Wow, amazing. I guess after getting beaten up all those times, he's like, I'm gonna lay back a little bit and figure out how to train myself and actually hone my fighting style. I think it's been a really interesting journey to see not only how his characters have evolved, but also the reception of that change as well.
This is the first Street Fighter game that was recorded in English first, right? And you were one of the first characters to record your lines. What was the experience like and how did that change things up for you?
For me, this was like a brand new way to do this because in 5 is a dub, so we have to match the timing of the Japanese voice line, we have to match the cadence, the tone, and the animation. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot that you have to constantly be juggling. But for 6, it was a lot more loose, it was more flow. And for the first time, we got that sweet mouth tech where you can say anything and the characters would, automatically lip sync. So that was really, really cool. And I just had a lot more time, a lot more freedom to deliver lines how I wanted to do it. And also, again, because we were creating this character in the US, I got to put a lot of my ideas in there as well. So that was a much, much different process than 5.
So speaking of you putting yourself into Luke and everything, I see online, we all see online,
yes,
your advocacy for Luke, the memes, everything, how much you love him. Where does that come from and what's that whole experience like?
I
never thought chicos, nomás quería saber si de pura casualidad estaban
for me, it's more about
subtítulos activados, pero al parecer no hay subtítulos, entonces
so,
vamos a ver qué onda con eso.
I'm gonna have fun with this character.
Actually, vamos a ver si termino poniéndole peluca al cero.
A wider global audience.
Peluca en la nariz.
I visited the Capcom Japan office and I
me gustaría ser optimista y que van a anunciar algo de Mega Man, pero le veo un poco imposible, no por el hecho de que
no, it's good, we like it.
Por ejemplo, el Saturday Wave, que según entiendo no está en el modo normal, y a lo mejor algún otro modo extra para el nivel 4. Pero vamos a ver qué onda, a ver qué se da. Por ahorita están anunciando lo que vienen siendo cosas, bueno, tenemos la idea de Street Fighter, los conceptos en general.
Gotta say, you're pretty photogenic.
That's the one everyone wants to see.
That's a good one. Hadouken!
There we go.
Hadouken! There's one where he whiffs his ultimate and he goes, whoa, wait. Oh, yeah. So those are all like great lines I remember recording because all the funniest lines, we got them in like one take. And then they were like, that's it, ship it. And I'm like, you sure? And they're like, nope, that was good. And I'm like, I messed up. And they're like, that's you're supposed to.
It's Luke, right? He's supposed to mess up. He's got 40 like that.
It's true.
Anything you want to say to the community?
Thank you for your support over the last year. It's been amazing. I've had such a blast with this character. Interacting with the community, seeing all the memes online, seeing all the fan art. It's been so much fun. And also, thank you for kicking my butt online. That's awesome too. I love that part. That's so cool. Thanks, guys. No, seriously, though,
For everyone else at home, please stick around. We have an interview with localization director Andrew Alfonso that we pre-recorded, and that's coming up right now.
Bueno, que ya dejé 4, pero
We're going to take you a little bit behind the scenes today, and we've got a special guest to do that for us. We're with Andrew Alfonso, coming to us all the way from Osaka, Japan. He works over at Capcom Japan. So Andrew, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hey guys. So yeah, I'm localization director at Capcom Japan. I've been at Capcom for 17 years now. It's been quite a while. My first game that I worked on was Mega Man Star Force for the DS. After that, I worked on a bunch of Ace Attorney games, Ace Attorney 3, 4, 5, and Investigations. After that, I worked on the Monster Hunter series for about 10 years. And now I'm back on Street Fighter series. Street Fighter 6 which was just released.
Just an amazing tenure over at Capcom. But is there one in particular, a project that you've worked on that's really near and dear to your heart?
I would say the number one is usually Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. That was kind of the first game that I really got to work with the dev team very closely, especially the directors Fujioka-san and Takeda-san. Probably number 2 is definitely Street Fighter 6. Because just working with Nakayama-san and Matsumoto-san has just been an absolute pleasure. Their kind of philosophy on how game development should work has always been very appealing. So I was really happy to have this opportunity to work with them on Street Fighter 6.
Love working with them, and they've been amazing. But before we get into like Street Fighter 6, can you tell us a little bit more about localization, the different responsibilities, and what it's all about?
You know, obviously we do, you know, translation in text, into the text and whatnot, but we also handle a lot of the voice direction for our games. On top of that, we also get involved a lot in the motion capture for the games. We also do a lot of stuff just to help the dev teams out in terms of, like, you know, diversity and, you know, culturalization and stuff like that. I do remember that, you know, Nakayama-san mentioned in an interview last time where we were, he was talking about, you know, Kimberly in Street Fighter 6, and, you know, he had a lot of consultants, you know, working with him to get the design just right. He also talked to Capcom employees, and that's actually, you know, localization team. He came to us and, you know, asked us for our feedback on not only Kimberly, but also, you know, Lily and also DJ, you know, to make sure that those characters are, you know, in a good spot for fans, and, you know, their designs are not only cool, but also, you know, something that is going to be appealing to a worldwide audience.
Yeah, tell us, you know, how you're involved in the game, how you kind of got started on the project. I know it's probably been a really long road for you, so just tell us about kind of your experience in the development.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's been a very long time. It's been about 3 years, at least for me. I got started off because Nakayama-san asked me if I could help them out with their prototyping. He wanted to, you know, get me in early because he knows that I was a big fighting game fan. I know a lot of things that we should try to improve for not only just Street Fighter fans, but also for a newer audience that they're trying to, you know, get with Street Fighter 6. He brought me on mainly for that, but also because they were going to be working on this new commentary system that was going to be a first for the series. So they asked me to come on early just to, you know, get that sorted out so that we could have something, you know, very natural for, you know, the English-speaking audience that are going to use this commentary system.
So we're definitely going to hit on the real-time commentary feature later, but before that, what were some of your goals as a localization director for Street Fighter 6? And what do you hope fans come away with? Story, characters, or just anything?
You know, one of the goals that I told the director, Nakayama-san, this game has a huge legacy, long legacy. We need to give it the localization that it actually deserves. We need to make sure that this, you know, people come away with the better understanding of all the characters, and the characters that they already love, they fall in love with them all over again. The other goal that I had was, because I knew that we were going to be working on the World Tour mode, We
no
had stuff
tan
like
avanzadas,
modern
pero por ejemplo
controls to
que
appeal to
ustedes vean
users who are
que
trying
cuando
to
estoy
aim for a
asustado
lot
o
of new players to
impresionado
come in, and we had to make this
o
as
mínimo que se
beginner
vea que
friendly as
mueve la boca
possible.
cada vez que
We're not going to be
hablo.
throwing
Pero
a
eso
lot
tendré
of
que investigarlo más a
NPC
fondo
community
y
terms
ver
in there. We're
si
going to
puedo
try to explain things
modificarlo para
in a very natural
que
but
sea
easy to
un
understand
poquito
way.
mejor.
And also, like a lot of the, for example, like a lot of the attack names are still in Japanese, and Karen's super ardent Street Fighter 5 is just completely in Romaji. They just translated from Japanese to English without actually translating it. So no one actually ever said the name of her, attack. And I said, this is not something that you want. You want something that people can kind of attach to. They get attached to the name, and especially with this new commentary system, we want people to kind of call out these attack names so that people get, this certain affinity for it, and they start to like grow attached to it. And that's kind of like the two basic goals, two high-level goals that I had for this localization.
It's also a little bit more about the real-time commentary feature.
When he approached me about this,
Sinceramente me sorprende que Mortal Kombat se les hubiera ocurrido implementar eso del doble personaje, o sea, el personaje y el asistente. Pienso yo que es más por el hecho de que se les complicó un poco lo que viene siendo los combos.
I just kind of like thought about it for about a couple seconds, and I thought about the scope of this. I play a lot of sports games, so I know like how they do the commentary in those games, and they always, bounce about, we recorded like 50,000 lines. For Monster Hunter, we only recorded 5,000 lines. So making that huge jump in like line count is just, a huge mountain to scale. So I was kind of taken aback. But I kind of settled down, and we did go with, the first person we did go with was Vicious. He's just as a person, he's just super reliable. He's he has a good attitude about everything. He's very good on the microphone. He's always looking to improve. I kind of made him like, okay, he's all these things because he's kind of like the Ryu of like commentators. And then, if we're gonna have a Ryu as commentator, we need a Ken counterpart. And there's no better counterpart to Vicious than TCC because they work together on Street Fighter League. They actually work very well together, but they also have their just completely contrasting styles too. Vicious is very much, he sounds very professional, even, when things get very excited in a match. But TC does not do that. He goes nuts, right? And that's one of the things that I really wanted for these choices.
Yeah, definitely.
Ustedes saben que ahí era de realizar combos, realizar
especially with the commentary system being a completely new thing for Street Fighter game. Speaking of new things in Street Fighter 6, I do want to ask you about the World Tour mode and what it's like just helping craft a story mode
medir tus golpes y golpear un par de veces para realizar un combo mínimo de 5 golpes.
What was the experience like?
Se me hacía un poco tedioso.
That was really challenging.
Por lo mismo de que no sabía cómo conectar los golpes y continuar el combo y alargarlo más de lo que ya debería de haberlo hecho.
A whole other game
mode
to itself. In terms of just like how much we had to translate and port, this is actually bigger than a typical Monster Hunter game by a good margin. So it was very big in scope. One of the things that was really